Okay, in this video we are going to classify triangles. Now when we're talking about classifying triangles, we have several ways to do it. One is classifying it by sides. And if you classify triangles by sides, you can say that a triangle is scaling if all three sides are different lengths. So a triangle with no congruent sides, all three sides are different lengths, is called a scaling triangle. Now, an isosceles triangle is a triangle that has at least two congruent sides. So in our example, we can see that we have these two sides congruent, therefore it is an isosceles triangle. And the last classification by side is an equilateral triangle, and that's a triangle where all of the sides are congruent. So a triangle with all three congruent sides. So we've learned how to classify triangles by sides. Now let's learn how to classify them by angle. If you have an acute triangle, that's in a triangle where all three angles are congruent. So looking at our example, we have a 30 degree, a 70 degree, an 80 degree, and remember, acute means that angles are less than 90 degrees. So three angles that are less than 90 degrees gives me an acute triangle. Oh, that kind of messed up, didn't it? Hang on. See if I can fix that. I can't. Hang on. Okay, now a right triangle is a triangle with at least one right angle. Obviously, a triangle can only have one right angle. And you can't assume a triangle is a right triangle unless it has this marking, which indicates that one of the angles is a right angle. Okay, an obtuse triangle is a triangle with at least one obtuse angle. And in looking at our example, we can see that this angle right here is 120, which is over 90 degrees, which means it's obtuse. So this is an obtuse triangle. An equiangular triangle is a triangle where all the sides are, or sorry, not all the sides, all the angles are congruent. So a triangle with all congruent angles is called equiangular. And in our example, all of these angles are 60 degrees. So it is equiangular. Now, a polygon with all sides congruent and all angles congruent is called a regular polygon. In the case of a triangle, a regular triangle is equilateral as well as equiangular. So an equilateral triangle is always equiangular because it's a regular polygon. Now, let's put some of this to use. Let's classify triangles by sides and angles. Looking at our first example, we look and see that all of our angles, we're going to do sides first. All our two sides are congruent, therefore it's an isosceles triangle. Now, looking at our angles, we see that all three angles are less than 90 degrees, so this is an acute triangle. It's an acute isosceles triangle. Now, let's look at our next one. Looking at our sides, we see that all three sides are different lengths, so this is a scaling triangle. And if we look at our angle, we see that one of our angles is a right angle, so this is a right triangle. So this is a right scaling triangle. Now, our last example is, if we look at the sides, we can see that all three of them are congruent, so this is an equilateral triangle. And we know that it has to be equiangular as well because all equilateral triangles are also equiangular. Now on the next example, they just give us side lengths. They don't give us any information about angles, so that's all we can address right here. And our side lengths are 2, 3, and 6, which were all different lengths, so therefore this is a scaling triangle. Our next example said side lengths are 80 feet, 80 feet, and 80 feet. So all three sides are the same length. So this is an equilateral triangle. And our last example gives us only angle measurement. So we cannot classify this triangle by sides, only by angles. The angle measurements are 35, 110, and 35. Well, two of them are the same, but we notice that we have this one obtuse angle. So we can classify this as an obtuse triangle. I think you have enough information about classifying triangles to do your homework.